Hello, it's Jennifer with Eating My Yard, and I haven't done a video in a while because it's been crazy hot here in Southern California. I live inland, so pretty much since mid-July, every day in my backyard it's been over 90 degrees, and so I haven't been able to go outside and do anything for more than about 15 minutes as such. Some things overgrew, some things died. So this you're looking at right here is a volunteer pumpkin, but it's not really doing much fruiting wise. Probably because it's just not getting proper support, water, anything. Looks like I left some onions in here. Anyhow, so some things took off in the heat and the humidity, like this Jamaican starfish. It just got peppers all over the place. And then other things suffered, like lots of my tomatoes. I've been removing them as they die. It just got too hot, and they died in the heat. And then today I'm actually wrangling these tomatoes because they just grew every which way and I can't get between the rows. So we've had a bunch of high UV and whatnot, and as you can see, what I noticed the first year gardening is with high UV, the plants just start miniaturizing. And not producing big fruits or anything like that. So I'll be pulling most of these out as well. So I'm looking forward. Hello, creature. I hear you. So I'm looking forward to cooler weather as fall settles in. As of right now, it's still just too hot to do anything. So I'm out here in the late afternoon doing what I can. Anyhow, I'm planning my fall and winter garden now. So I've been getting onion seeds, hope to grow some beans, and then as soon as it really cools down, probably in November, I hope to start getting some broccoli and cabbage and some brassica family plants into the ground. But as of right now, it's just clean up and preparing the soil and, making do with what I have still growing. And I think that's about all for now. So some of the plants that took off in the heat are these eggplants, although they kind of took off recklessly. I don't know how to describe it any more than that. Then they just spread a whole lot of thin branches and they put out some fruits. The only problem with the fruits is, they're nice and big and all, but they're so full of seeds that they're inedible. I tried to get them early, but that just didn't happen. These green apple eggplants immediately went bitter and turned yellow. The patio baby also, they started out good tasting when the weather was cooler, but as the weather got hotter, they got bitter and more seedy. So it's kind of a mixed bag with the eggplants, that it seems that in the spring and probably when it cools out in the fall, I'll get some quality eggplants, but while it remains in the 90s and the 100s in the daytime, I'm just getting, a whole lot of leaves and a whole lot of inedible fruit. So as you can see down here, there's a mammoth purple rain eggplant under there, which I guess I'll go ahead and collect, but it might be inedible because it's full of seeds. The plant itself just shot up seemingly overnight, and now it's just this huge monster eggplant that, every once in a while I'll come around the corner and there'll be some huge monster eggplant for me to pick. But every time they've been so full of seeds, the plant has been inedible. Along with the heat, the humidity that we've had this year, which is actually very unusual for Southern California during the summer to have so much humidity, supercharged my pepper plant. So this is my Anaheim plant. I cut it back last week actually because it was falling all over the ground. But this is the most peppers I've ever had on an Anaheim plant. And these Anaheim are hot, hotter than a typical Anaheim is. And they're pretty big. So I'm proud of this plant, and I've been saving seeds from it to grow again next year. So it seems that, you know, it's well acclimated. Oh look, the critters love it too. It seems that it's well acclimated for my yard, so hopefully the plant will just get bigger and better next year. So something unexpected was that these little cabbages here kept growing throughout the summer. We had some earlier, but they were terribly bitter. So even though they grow, they're inedible because they're bitter. But that's good to know. What's this one called? Not baby. Either way, it's a miniature cabbage, and it makes a head that's about 4 to 5 inches wide, which is enough for 2. And so these are perfect size, but even though they do grow in the heat here, they are not edible because they're so bitter. And basically, I've just been throwing all the plants in here from the pots, and pretty soon I'm going to bust up the dirt, bust up these leaves, and kind of leave it until the spring, so I can plant some stuff. So basically, I'm just composting in place. So another takeaway from this summer is that, at least in my backyard, growing tomatoes in containers, unless they're small variety, doesn't work very well. It just gets too hot for them. They dry out too quickly, and it just didn't produce good results for me. I got a lot of cracking, and if the plant produced at all. And one of the things that happened when it got hot is the plants, although they have lots of leaves, do not have any flowers. So it just got too hot. The flowers dropped, or the flowers didn't form. So it seems, at least for me, I can grow tomatoes from February to about mid-July. And then between mid-July and probably nowish, September, October-ish, the tomatoes really don't grow well here. I can probably start another round of tomatoes if I wanted to in the sunnier parts of my yard, maybe now or in a month or so. So anyhow, a few of the tomato varieties actually grow well here over winter. Another thing that took off was basil, but the problem with, and I cut this one back severely, one basil plant actually had edible basil. This one here, there's just too many bugs and things chewing on it for me to feel safe drying it and eating it. The other basil plant is unmolested and has provided a big bundle of basil for us to eat. So anyhow, this is me cutting back from what you saw earlier, the canopy here of tomato plant. Mainly I'm afraid of getting those big tomato worms in my hair, so I just want those out of the way. It's not, you know, for the health of the plant or anything. It's just that I don't want worms in my hair. And then here's some more peppers. The bell peppers took off maybe 3 weeks ago, and so I had peppers all over the place. We're eating peppers off the barbecue. So another thing that's happening now, as you can see by the bunch of missing leaves, is that the tomato worms have arrived, and when I find them, I just cut them in half. But as you can see, one of them's done a lot of damage here. No bird. And as soon as I find him, if he's, you know, still a caterpillar, I'll go ahead and cut him in half. As you can see, again, lots of peppers. These nice black ones. And this tomato, which I have to cut back. And over here are some tomatoes I just went sprawling all over the place, but they've cut a worm in here the other day. So anyhow, again, as you can see, no fruits, no flowers. It's just been hot. The other thing that's happened is that the weeds have been supercharged, so I've been trying to beat those back, but it's been hard. The same thing with the ants. The ants just got desperate and are causing trouble all over the yard. I don't really want to go into this tomato mess until I find the worm, because those big tomato worms pack quite a bite, and I'm not in the mood for that. So that wraps it up for now. Lots of peppers, lots of inedible eggplants, lots of tomato growth to cut back, a lot of just general cleaning up from all the heat, and lots of lessons learned about what to grow in my yard and what not to, and how to grow them. So the small containers really don't work that well. The large containers, if they have the drip irrigation, do work that well. But the thing that I have to remember and that I see is that when I grow them this way, the peppers especially get a lot bigger than they have before, and I just hadn't prepared for the size of them and didn't have proper support for them. So next year I will make sure that everything is properly supported, so I avoid messes like this next year, and so I can actually eat more of my fruit instead of having either mice or rabbits eat them off the ground. Alright, that's it. Bye bye. Oh hey, look, those onions I said I didn't pull out of the ground that looked dead actually had bulbs on them. Huh, look at that. Okay, so this is really goodbye.